We can end the episode right there. Just number one rule of social media: be a good person.
Yep.
Welcome to the Photography Opinion Podcast. We discuss all things photo, video, and camera related. I'm Ben Lucas.
And I'm Stuart Marlantis.
And this is Photo Op.
Welcome to the show. As we tipped off in our last episode about how to collaborate, today we are talking about the best social media platforms for photographers. And oh yeah, it's a big topic, but hopefully we're going to make it simpler for you. So from the get-go, this really depends on your audience.
There is no right answer.
There's no right answer.
Let's just start the episode by saying there's no right answer. We're going to tell you kind of pros and cons and our opinions.
Mm-hmm. There is no right like, answer. You have to be on this one place, with the exception of one that we'll talk about first. So other than this one exception, no social media platform is hands down
king,
the best, no matter what. There is no king. It depends on what you like, what you're comfortable with, and the kind of work that you're doing. So those are the kind of things to think about first when you think about what social media platforms you want to use. Are what can you use? What are you able to use? What can you update easily and frequently? When you're going to be on social media, you need to commit to some degree, some platforms more than others, and you need to continue to make regular posts. You need to feed the algorithm, so to speak. And so think about platforms that you know you can use and that you will be hopefully excited or at least willing to use on a regular basis.
So when I signed up for social media just to claim my username, Nom Creative, on every single platform, I think I have an account on all of the platforms that we're going to talk about today. But there are definitely ones that, like, I understand. I get the knack of, I know the flow of how people interact on these platforms. I totally get Facebook and Instagram. I understand these platforms. I do not understand Twitter. I have one, and I post once a year, if that, because I'm just very bad at Twitter. In fact, my last couple of tweets have been retweets of my friends tweeting my YouTube videos. So if there's one that just doesn't click with you, that's okay.
Yeah, that is totally fine. I would say it's almost worse signing up and posting for a little while and stopping than just never starting at all.
Thanks. That makes me feel so much better about my dead Twitter account.
That's not what I don't mean necessarily for username claiming reasons. Like, that's fine if you want to do that, but yeah, you really should not do what Ben does, or not do what I do for that matter. I have
something that we talked about.
Something
that we talked about a couple episodes ago is don't blog if you are going to blog once and then forget about it, because people will look at your website and see this person hasn't blogged in 4 years. I'm not going to contact them to shoot my wedding. I don't think they shoot weddings anymore.
Yeah, this is a do as I say, not as I do kind of situation.
That's why I don't have a blog. I have social media and I do my best to keep up with it, but that's just one of those things that I can't commit to.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And you should also think about where your audience is as well. You could be as excited about a platform as you want and post to it all the time, but if that platform is not where your audience is, then you're just kind of flushing work down the drain for no leads.
Something else I would say about social media. So I very much love Ramit Sethi, and if you're not familiar with him, he is an entrepreneur, financial type person who very much likes to be, kind of rude, but call it like it is. But one of the things that he said is you don't need social media, because social media are vanity metrics. If you're not legitimately getting leads from social media, one, you could be getting those leads from some other fashion, and two, you're probably not making like you're not making the money for the investment per hour like you would be cold calling people or emailing people, or if you're a wedding photographer going to wedding shows type thing. So social media, I don't actually feel like it is core and integral to your business. Like, it looks good if you have one, and it's definitely a fun thing to do, and it is great for creating those networking things. But if your goal is to do this professionally, social media is not, generally speaking, how you get those leads. So a lot of it comes down to vanity metrics, and especially one of the things is you can post on one platform and you can get 100,000 views. But if that 100,000 views turns into 0 leads, and another platform only gets you 50 views, but those 50 views get you 5 leads, well, which platform's actually better?
Exactly. It's unless it's just for fun, it's pretty much all about leads at the end of the day, and less big numbers, but more leads is ultimately more important.
Yeah. So we are gonna run through these and talk about pros and cons, but at the end of the day, it comes down to the answer is gonna be different for you. Based on what it is that you're trying to sell, who it is you're trying to sell to, and what your goal is for having a social media account.
But there's one answer that's always correct, and that is your website.
Dun dun dun. Yeah, at the end of the day, Facebook could close down tomorrow. They could ban you for whatever reason. They could change the algorithm that says we're no longer going to show professional photographers. Like, something could happen, and you don't control any of the platforms we're talking about today except your website. So having a website is your home base where you can put stuff out, and no one can tell you what you can or can't put there.
You have ultimate control, and ideally your website is a constant or at least constant presence, not necessarily constant design or constant contact or content, but a constant presence no matter what you do on any other platform as they come in and out of popularity. So you must have a website. You need to have a website. We have an episode about building a website. There is no excuse.
We sure do. It will be linked in the show notes.
Yes, it will. So moving on from websites, because that's a concept.
There are a few
else?
social media platforms that claim to be social media, but they're not very social besides just people clicking a thumbs up on your content. And so I would call them portfolio replacements, where they are good for certain things, but like if you don't have a website, and people say, where's your work? You can send them one of these, but they're not really good as social media, at least not in my experience.
Yeah. I would start that list probably at the lowest usefulness with 500 pics.
It is gorgeous if you want wildlife photos or landscape photos or not safe for work content. And there are great photographers there, but that's kind of only thing the algorithm pushes up there.
Yep. And yep, that's it. I mean,
we don't have anything else. We don't have any good things to say about it.
Unless you make those 3 things, then that's it.
Let's see. Next up on the list, Flickr. I know you have more experience with that than I do.
Sure. So Flickr was owned by Yahoo until recently when they were purchased by SmugMug, and I'm kind of what applies to SmugMug to some degree applies to Flickr a little bit. SmugMug is 100% just a replacement for a photography website, and it's actually a pretty good one.
If you sell prints, it is a very easy way to sell prints.
Yeah, it's a great way to sell prints. But they recently bought Flickr, and I would say Flickr at least has some social element. There are comments, there are likes, there is potentially a structure in there that can get you work. There's also a lot more variety on Flickr as far as content than 500 pics. So Flickr, I would say, if it's just a place that you really like, and there are lots of communities on Flickr that can be really powerful networking wise, maybe that's worth it for you. I would say I'm very tentative about Flickr at this point. Them being bought by SmugMug, a community or a company that actually understands and really supports photography, I think is really great. So for me, I would say maybe
keep an eye.
Keep an eye on Flickr. I wouldn't jump on a lot of effort there quite yet, but maybe sign up for it, look around, see if some of the communities there are for you. If so, great. If not, just keep it in the back of your mind. We'll see how it progresses as SmugMug makes their changes to it.
The last portfolio replacement site I want to mention is Behance. So Behance is owned by Adobe. It
Yes.
also kind of works like these other ones, except the special thing about Behance is you can do portfolios that look like a web page where you can put text in there and can put galleries, and you can show off the different things of work that you do. So I have a website, and my website is just portraits.
Mm-hmm.
Wedding portraits, boudoir portraits, cosplay portraits, professional portraits, but all portraits. But here's the thing, I still get a ton of work from companies like Costco, Amazon, Leatherman. I'm doing work for another company called Sog Knives right now. There are a lot of these companies that have me do product photography on white photography. I did a bunch of work for Nintendo at one point. A ton of the Switch accessories that came out in those first couple of months were shot by yours truly. So I have a website that when we talked about the building your website video, if you are the jack of all trades and I do equestrian and product and weddings, they're like, well, he probably sucks at all of these. I don't want to hire him. So I have customers that come to me for weddings and portraits and more portraits. And then I actually have a recruiter that gets me work for all of the corporate stuff. So I use Behance as a portfolio for here's my gallery of editorial product photography. Here's my gallery of on-white product photography. Here's my gallery of retouching so you can see before after for simple products that were just scratched or scuffed and needed to look perfect, to more complicated projects where I did like shot a label flat and then I wrapped it onto a 3D model of a bottle so it looked better than anything that is physically possible on an actual round bottle. Like, so when I use this as like these different kind of random portfolios, I think Behance is good as a portfolio replacement when it doesn't actually fit on your website. So if there's something random,
Addition.
yes, a portfolio extension.
An
So
expansion.
if there's something random that I don't want on my site that I still need to show people, like there's a gallery of food photography, and it's not your standard like plated food photography. It is like I am tossing a bowl and the bowl has a bunch of cool stuff flying out, and like that kind of gallery. So if someone wants to hire me for that, here's that kind of special thing. So it is good for the random jack of all trades thing, but it's not social.
And if you have a Creative Cloud subscription, you probably have some amount of Behance included for free. So, give it a shot if you need a portfolio extension. A kind of cross, I feel like, between portfolios and social media, Pinterest.
Ooh, yes.
This one is often the bane of my existence when I'm trying to get the actual photo file,
and Google only shows
Images,
you the Pinterest results,
and I just get the low res Pinterest results. So I'm not a huge fan of Pinterest just because of that. But
okay, I'll speak to this one.
I realize there's
I
some value
use
there.
Pinterest.
Yeah.
So Pinterest is really good for putting together mood boards for those clients that come to you. So when I shoot weddings, brides and grooms, normally brides, already have Pinterest boards. I say send that to me. And through looking through that Pinterest board, I now understand their aesthetic, their style, their design. Are they modern? Are they rustic? Or do they love bright colors or monochromatic? Do they love fun and giggly? Do they love over-the-top dramatic flair? I understand them on a much deeper level when they send that to me. And then on the flip side, when I'm doing a boudoir shoot with someone, I put together my own Pinterest board of like, these are the kinds of outfits that I think would work. And this is a collaborative Pinterest board that we can both post to. So she will post, I love these kinds of outfits. And she'll say, I love this photo. And I will post like, I love this photo. If you would be willing to get these kinds of outfits, that works with this photo. So it is a back and forth of just like a mood board. we
Mhm.
love these things. This is what we want for the shoot. So I have several public boards that are just like, here are some of my wedding photos. Here are some of the photo ideas that I think I like, that type of thing. But I have
Mhm.
so many private boards for direct collaboration with clients. So it's great for that, but I've never gotten a lead from Pinterest.
Yeah, so it can be a useful collaborative tool, but it's not exactly lead generating social media.
No, it is.
I
I don't consider it social.
I will say I have known of people that have gotten work from interior designers who use Pinterest a lot. Like this is kind of hearsay, so don't totally trust what I'm saying here. But I do have this understanding that quite a few interior designers use it for inspiration. That being said, converting a photography thing into work with interior designers, it really depends on your exact situation. So that might be an audience if you're really trying to target interior designers that could be using Pinterest in a way that is lead generating, but that is the most tenuous thing that I could possibly give Pinterest. So just don't take my word as gospel. That's just what I've heard, what my understanding is.
Yeah, so that one, it has its place, but it's not
More of a tool than a
it's
social
it's a
media.
tool. So next on our list, Reddit.
Oh boy, this one's a little bit fickle.
I have a love-hate relationship with Reddit because
Yes.
Reddit has done some great things, but I also get a ton of hate on Reddit, and I get a ton of just being blocked and saying like you're spamming, no self-promotion. Reddit is a tough one. You are king of Reddit. Help me out on this one.
I am not, but I do spend a lot of time on Reddit, way more than I should. Reddit is, I would say, 100% dependent on the communities that you're a part of on the site. So Reddit as a thing has, default communities that they promote to their front page, pics being one of them, videos, that sort of stuff. But Reddit's value, in my opinion, comes in the smaller communities, which are called subreddits on the site. So a place that, for example, really promotes and encourages self promotion is it's called I took a picture. So it's reddit.com/r/I took a picture. That's what all of the subreddits are on, or r/something. So I took a picture is a big one where their whole thing is post pictures that you have taken that are really cool
And tell us
and
about it.
tell us about it. And you can get a lot of followers on other platforms. You can plug your Instagram. That's actually built into the community, is including your Instagram, your Facebook, your handle, and getting followers, potentially getting leads that way. So that is a great example of a place where you can go and promote your work, and that is hugely encouraged. There are photo critique subreddits. There are all sorts of videography production subreddits. There's some really good communities, but really need to look at the smaller communities, I think, for Reddit. The bigger stuff like pics, videos, oftentimes there are hugely against self-promotion. They really go after you, in my opinion, wrongly, because oftentimes people self-promote on those subreddits to great success, but they use like my friend did this, or they make up some random user that is theoretically not them to promote their work, and then people go crazy for it. So I think hating on self-promotion is a huge issue with Reddit. That being said, you can get around it by going to communities that are specifically about that work, and you can really grow. There's some great people there, really talented people that are willing and able and excited to help you with your work, and who want to see it. So
My
Reddit
most
is
popular
awesome.
Reddit post was actually my friend Ben Von Wong. He
Mhm.
posted one of my photos that said, "Check this guy out. It's awesome." And because he has a huge following, and then he posted on Reddit, that photo exploded. Of course, none of the karma went to my account,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Yeah. One note: karma is a thing with Reddit where basically you get upvotes, you get people positively supporting whatever you post or say on Reddit. That's what karma is. Don't chase karma. If you go to Reddit, go for the conversation and the
there are
and
some
the
Reddits though
collaboration.
that have a karma minimum
Yes,
before
that's
you
true.
can like make new topics or self promote or anything like that. And it's usually
So
pretty low, but it is those kind of just
yeah.
restrictions of, hey, we don't want spammers here. We want you to be engaged in the community before you self-promote.
Yeah. So make an account, join a community, make some comments, be a good person and be helpful and interested in what other people are doing, and you'll get that karma threshold very quickly, and then you can promote your own stuff. So Reddit can be hugely powerful, potentially in many ways more powerful than any other platform we're talking about today, but it is also fickle. So just choose your subreddit wisely.
We can end the episode right there. Just number one rule of social media: be a good person.
Yep. Exactly. Goes for all of these.
All right. So we are saving the best for last, so to speak. One other one before we get to these top 3. Twitter. How do you feel about Twitter?
Twitter's weird. As for photographers and videographers, I would say it's way less interesting and useful for you. If you really get Twitter and it's something that you're excited about and that you like posting on, and there are some communities around Twitter that you can take part in, then great. But I see Twitter very much as a hobby social media, if that makes any sense. Like, that is for fun, for talking to random people, for putting your thoughts out there. I don't really see it as particularly useful for photographers.
It is so much easier. Last episode we talked about collaboration. It is so much easier to directly message someone on Twitter and kind of put things out there to see what comes back to you. So I think that's good for networking, but not so much for like photography.
Yeah, exactly. So Twitter seems to me very much about you as a person and less your work, whereas a lot of these other platforms we're talking about today are very more focused on your work to get to you as a photographer.
For sure.
That makes sense.
All right. So let's hit the top 3. YouTube.
I mean, if you're a videographer, you're already on YouTube. So that goes without saying. But as a photographer, YouTube, much like blogs, is like, you really need to commit. Like, YouTube's algorithm is notorious for only promoting people that are regularly and consistently posting stuff to the platform. So
why do you think we started a podcast?
That's one reason. But yeah, YouTube can be really great. It takes a lot of effort, and it's going to be discouraging. Especially now, it'll take you a long time.
It's only getting harder too. They keep raising the threshold. They keep moving the goalposts. They make it harder and harder for new creators. So it really is, all of the social inequity in the world is paramount on YouTube, where the top gets the top and everyone else is at the bottom. So everyone that I have worked with, specifically the people I have worked with, okay, this is not everyone, this is anecdotal, but the people I have worked with on YouTube, they get next to $0 on YouTube. Some of them are big enough that they get some ad revenue, but that ad revenue is peanuts compared to what they do is they build a community on YouTube. And then that community, they buy their courses or their books or their presets, or they go off YouTube. The YouTube builds the community, and then they go off YouTube to monetize it. If that makes sense. So I specifically wanted to grow a following because I want to create tutorials. I want to share my knowledge and information with other photographers. And so I'm on YouTube because people go to YouTube looking for that kind of content.
If you like making videos, great, do it. If you don't, if that's a struggle for you, if that's going to be a lot of work, and it is a lot of work frequently, be very careful with YouTube. You really, that is a commitment. That is more of a relationship with the platform than anything else.
Oh yeah, it is a long road for sure. So I first started my YouTube channel eons ago. I don't even know how long. I won't say. But I really flipped the switch on it to instead of just posting whatever random stuff I thought of, I really flipped the switch to I want to post very regular content that is informational, educational, tutorial based, now kind of starting gear review based, but everything that is for photographers. So I want to flip this from being kind of wide, I want to reach the internet, to I want to reach the specific niche on the internet, right? I've been doing that weekly or bi-weekly for over 2 years now. Still am not monetized on YouTube. Still get next to 0 reviews, or not reviews, but leads on YouTube. But the one thing that it does do is when I get hired for a wedding, the person says, hey, I looked you up and your YouTube channel came up, and I just got lost going down the rabbit hole and seeing all of the cool stuff that you do, and wow, you're definitely the person I want to hire. So YouTube, in that way of like, it supplemented my website, it supplemented my other social media, it kind of positioned me as the expert of doing this thing. I'm still making $0 off YouTube though.
Yeah, it just has other value in your case. It's building a body of work that is related but separate from your existing portfolio that
and yeah, like you mentioned, it is the long haul.
Yeah, it's the long haul, and it can lead to support of whatever you're currently doing, but it is a big commitment and one that you should not take lightly.
For sure. Whew. All right, that was heavy stuff right there. Do not take this lightly. You are committed to YouTube.
I think we have 2 things left at this point.
They're both owned by the same parent company, but let's talk about them. Facebook, then Instagram.
Yeah, so these are the big ones, or they tend to be the big ones when you're talking about photography. Facebook, I mean, these are kind of the default. Facebook, at least, to me, feels like the default.
It does.
Like everybody is on it. And I feel like the choice between Facebook and Instagram
is both.
Is yes to both. But if you really need to pick one or the other, I think this is very audience dependent.
For sure. I actually have a perfect example of that. So all of my, I actually get a decent number of leads from Facebook. All of my commercial portraits, not all of them, but a lot of them come through a friend of a friend on Facebook, and I saw your stuff, and they message me on Facebook. Or they email me and say, hey, I saw you on Facebook. A lot of weddings, friend of a friend, I post a wedding that I did, and then they tag someone. Like, there's a lot of that networking socialness that happens on Facebook that doesn't happen on a lot of other platforms. Facebook is literally generating leads. I share stuff, it comes back to me. But then I started this thing called Triple Click Photo. It is a cosplay booth. It is a photo booth specifically for cosplayers. So Triple Click Photo, I did my very first one, and my friend said, hey, they're all tagging you on Instagram. I'm like, I don't have Instagram. And he's like, I know. you need one, because that specific audience of cosplayers, like, one cosplayer that I follow on Facebook has about 60 fans on Facebook, but 100,000 on Instagram. So the cosplay community is huge into Instagram, and so that is where, when we talk about it being audience dependent, who are you trying to reach? Because they might be really hardcore on just one of these two platforms.
Yeah, do some research on where your audience is. Are they more on Facebook, or are they more on Instagram? And then target accordingly. Although, because they've been owned by Facebook,
the algorithms are meshing. They're coming together. They're starting to be more one of the same.
And like Instagram used to be purely chronological. It is no longer. It now targets much like Facebook does. But because they're owned by the same parent company, it's so easy to cross post between the two. I mean, it's almost literally a one tap, one click thing to cross post. So I hesitate to say target one or the other, when really you should just do both, because it's just so easy to do both.
I would say if you want to be really successful on both, they both have their own idiosyncrasies, like when it comes to like hashtags and tagging and that type of stuff, that are different and need to be specific. So if you have the time to tackle both, do both properly. But if you don't have the time, just do that one touch thing. So like, yeah, maybe you're focusing on this one, but you're cross posting it to the other.
Yep, exactly. It at least gives people another place to find you, if nothing else.
All right, so what did we learn? If you're a photographer, Where do you need to be on the interwebs?
You need to have a website.
You do need to have a website. If you have a website and you have that website laser focused, you can have one of these portfolio alternatives for all the other random stuff you do. But otherwise, YouTube is the long haul commitment, and you have to be good at making video. You have to be good at have that high quality audio content, which not a lot of photographers do right out of the gate.
Yeah, it takes some work to get there for sure.
Yeah, and then Reddit, there's a huge community engagement there, but it's really hard to post your own work and self promote. And then we've got Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah, I would say of these, again, I hesitate because this hugely depends on your situation. I hesitate to say you have to be on one or the other, but I say you have to have a website, no matter what, and then next you should be on both Facebook and Instagram because cross posting is so easy, and then from there it just depends on whether you need additions to your portfolio or whether you're looking for a specific community or whether you're really into videos. Past that point, it really depends on your particular interests and capabilities.
And so these are 2020 recommendations on social media you should be on. Who knows what'll happen in the future? Remember when Vine was a thing and we all loved that? Yeah, so stuff changes. This is super rapid. But these are our opinions and recommendations for your best social media.
Hopefully that helps, and hopefully it gets you thinking about where you should be putting your efforts in the future.
If you have questions or ideas for future episodes, you can email us at hello@photo-op.show.
Watch us on Ben's YouTube channel at NomCreative.
As in Om Nom Nom.
Share this with a friend, and you can listen to Photo Op anywhere podcasts are sold.
Or download it. 'Cause it's free.